I welcome you all to the webinar From Zero to Automation. So it's basically a hands-on guide to kickstart your journey in test automation. So I am Ravi, a senior test manager in Security Technologies. So I have almost like around 20 years of experience in software testing. Along with us, we also have another guest, Saket. Saket, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, sure. So, hello everyone. It's really great to see you all here. So, my name is Ankit, and I am working as a test automation lead at Cerulean, India. I have an experience of more than 5 years in test automation. I'm also a Katalon creator and instructor, and I am 3x certified in Katalon. Certified. I'm also a certified SLQ and Copado professional. And yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Yeah. So let us kickstart our webinar now. Okay. So our first agenda is the agenda items. First, I'm going to discuss about the most common problems for beginners when they plan to start the test automation. Right. So we are going to discuss very common problems that every beginner who willing to start the test automation, and then I'm going to discuss the recommended approach for beginners. So we're going to start with the small, simple, stable test automation so that we can achieve the quick results, right? And then stay motivated. And then I'm going to give you a demo on Katalon's feature roadmap for the beginners. And then we will have a Q&A session. So before we kickstart the demo, I would like to give you a couple of rules, right? So you all will be muted throughout the demo. Hence, I would recommend you guys to ask questions for any instructors here, right? You can use the chat option that is showing in Zoom call, right? So you can send your queries. You can post all the queries in this particular chat option. Okay, so we will try to answer as many questions as possible. We could not answer any questions, then we'll be republishing this entire webinar in the community forum, so where you can find all the answers for the questions that we have not answered. Okay, and then first agenda. So what is the biggest challenge for the beginners who would like to come into test automation? So generally, automation beginners often give up so early. Why? Because they won't see the solid results or meaningful progress whenever they kickstart their automation journey. So that feels like they discouraged, they confused, or they unmotivated, right? So that is because of what? So that is because of the following challenges. So following are the challenges that really make any beginner discouraged, confused, or unmotivated to kickstart their automation journey. The first challenge is delay due to coding. So many beginners believe automation requires extensive coding skills, causing hesitation to start. So, for instance, if you take an example of Selenium, right, that requires scripting languages like Java or C Sharp or Python, so can seem difficult to those who does not have programming knowledge. So that causes hesitation to start their automation journey. So as they afraid by the programming, which may lead to early dropouts or lack of the progress. So that is one big challenge. The other challenge is try to automate everything. Try to automate everything. So most of the beginners often aim to automate all scenarios immediately, which can lead to challenges in maintaining their test automation suite. So when you start automating everything, that everything also includes complex scenarios. So when you start automating complex scenarios, which may involve dynamic data, unstable environments, or complex workflows that are prone to changes. So early automation of such complex scenarios gives increases maintenance overhead and reduces the efficiency in the long run, leading to the frustration for the beginners. So Complex or unstable scenarios waste a lot of time and are difficult to maintain. So that is one big challenge. And the other challenge is they generally feel lost without guidance. So, for any beginner, without a clear roadmap, beginners often feel overwhelmed and unsure of where to start and what to start. So many of the beginners lack access to the resources or mentors who can guide them in structuring their automation journey. So diving into advanced tools too early can also causes confusion and burnout. So this is where I would like to recommend a structured approach. So if you see here, I'm going to discuss on hands-on approach to mitigate all the challenges that we discussed in earlier slide. So automation beginners often give up early, feeling discouraged or confused, as I told you earlier. So these these challenges can be mitigated by starting small, simple tests to see quick wins and build confidence. So beginners can stay motivated to keep learning and growing. So following a hands-on approach, I would suggest to mitigate the challenges that we discussed earlier. What is the first hands-on approach? You need to use low-code features effectively. So low-code platforms like Katalon Studio provide pre-built functionalities, reducing the need for extensive programming knowledge that we discussed in earlier slide. And this simplifies the creation of test cases by offering built-in drag and drop interfaces, which includes built-in keywords such as click, set text, or verifying the element visible or not. So which eliminates the need for the coding. And then beginners can quickly automate basic scenarios and see immediate results, reinforcing your understanding of automation workflows with the low code features. And the other hands on approach is you need to start small with simple, stable tests. Why do we need to start with small? So, generally, large complex test scenarios can be overwhelming for beginners and prone to instability due to dependencies or frequent application changes. So, simple test provides a controlled environment to learn and experiment. So, example, simple and repetitive tasks like you can automate login functionality, or you can test a form submission process, or you can automate verifying the presence of UI elements on the web pages. So, these are all the very simple tasks that you need to start automating. And then completing the smaller tasks gives you motivation and builds the confidence. So, this establishes a strong foundation for tackling more advanced test cases, right? So, the another hands on approach, follow a clear beginner friendly roadmap. So, when you have a structured plan that helps beginners stay focused and avoid confusion caused by jumping into advanced feature prematurely. So, Katalon Studio's user friendly design ensures a smooth learning curve, even for those new to automation like you guys, right? And we also have a resources such as tutorials, community forums, and then documentation provides ongoing support. So, in this webinar, we are going to give you a roadmap. We will walk you through the beginner's roadmap for the automation. So, what are we going to aim in this beginner's roadmap? So, our goal is not to change everything overnight, as you all know, right? So, I'm going to aim to apply an approach that empowers all the beginners to automate what you're already doing manually, right? But you can do better, faster, which gives you an immediate results. So how are we gonna do this? So we will start with small, focusing on repetitive manual tasks, and then we are also gonna leverage the low code features, right? Now let us see a practical demo explaining the automation roadmap. The roadmap I'm about to give demo is for the skills that automation beginners should focus on when kickstarting their journey. So let me give you a demo now. Now I'm going to give you a practical demo by using Katalon Studio. So here is the roadmap highlights. I'm going to cover the following activities in our demo. First activity is create tests easily. Second one, execute tests flexibly. And then reuse test artifacts seamlessly. Keep artifacts organized. Enhance reusability. Our first activity is create tests easily. So there is a feature called record and playback to automate your test cases very easy. To all automation beginners, I would recommend you guys to start with very easy and simple tests to automate. One more thing that you need to keep in mind, not every test case is right candidate for automation. Hence, you need to first identify repetitive tasks, reusable tests, table tests, and test cases which are business critical. So once you identify your right scope candidates for automation, then you can start automating the identified tests by using simple feature called record and playback, where you need not to have any coding knowledge. So now let us jump onto the Katalon Studio and see how can we automate the simple test cases by using record and playback. So this is my Katalon Studio. So before we start automating test cases, let us first create a new project. Go to File, select New, and then select Project. Here, let us provide the project name as 0 to automation. You need to select the type of application that you would like to automate. As we are automating the web application, I would like to select the type as web. And then I'm going to start with a blank project. And this is the location where I would like to store all the artifacts. And then click on OK. As soon as you click on OK, it creates a blank project. So you can see here in the left pane, which has Test Explorer. So this has different modules and the project structure. So we are going to concentrate on two modules for this particular demo. Test cases is one module, object repository is another module. You can see other modules like test suites, data files, checkpoints, keywords, test listeners. So I'm going to cover all these modules later point in time. So before we start automating our test cases, let us see what is our system under test that you would like to consider for automation. So this is the application Cura Healthcare Service demo application provided by Katalon. This is what we are going to automate. So now let us identify the test cases that we would like to automate. So by using this application, I can make an appointment. Click on make appointment. My first test case will be a reusable test, which is login test. There I will be providing the username and then I need to provide the password. As soon as you click on login, you will be landing onto another page called make appointment page. where you will be providing the facility, what is the healthcare program that you have, and what is the date you would like to book an appointment. And then we are going to provide the comments. So book appointment is our another test case. And then I'm going to click on book appointment. Once you click on book appointment, you will be getting an appointment confirmation. You're going to validate this appointment confirmation as part of book appointment test case. And then my third test case is log out from the application. You can go to home page and then select the hamburger and then click on log out button. So these are the three different test cases that we would like to automate. So now let us go back to Katalon Studio and let us start with a simple test case automation login functionality. How can we do that? We can use a feature called Record Web. If you see on the top ribbon, there is an option called Record Web. You need to click on this Record Web. As soon as you click on Record Web, it opens Web Recorder. There you will be providing the URL for your system under test. So this is the URL for my healthcare application. And then you can select any browser that you would like to use for recording purpose. Either you can select Chrome, Edge, IE or any other browsers that are available in your system. In my case, I would like to select Chrome as my browser. So click on this record by using Chrome. As soon as you click on record by using Chrome, it opens the application URL that you have provided here. So let me expand this particular web recorder. Okay. So now let us interact with the application to automate the login functionality. So you need not to worry about any scripting language here. You can simply interact with the objects. First, I would like to click on make appointment. You can see on the right side, it is recording each and every user action. And then provide your username and then provide the password. You can see here, it is recording each and every user action. And then click on login. As soon as you click on login, I would like to confirm that user is successfully logged in. How? I would like to validate make appointment page is appeared on the screen or not. How can I do that? This is my element, make appointment label. Right click on this, go to Katalon Studio and simply select verify element present. See, this is my last step. Once you click on login, I'm going to verify if this header presents. And now you can see here, I would like to show you another option which is called show captured objects. If I expand this, you can see here all the objects that you have interacted with. See here, first I clicked on make appointment. I can see that is the object. And then I have provided my username, password. Username is an input field. Password is an input field. And then I clicked on button. So basically, these are all your captured objects by Katalon Studio. So you need not to worry about capturing the objects. Katalon Studio takes care of capturing the objects whenever user interacts with different elements. And then if I want to rename any object name, select the object that you would like to rename. Let's say this is my make appointment button, right? I would like to rename this as button underscore make. I can simply rename the objects as well. Once your test steps are recorded and you can see all the test objects, now you can save the script. When you are saving the script, it will ask you what is the location that you would like to store these objects. Let us say I would like to create a new folder. I don't want to store the objects directly under object repository. Instead of that, I would like to create a new folder called 0 to automation. Click OK. And then I would like to store all the objects in this particular folder. Click OK. As soon as you click on OK, it's going to ask you to name the test case. Now you can provide the test case name. What is our test case name? Our test case name is login test. And then click on OK. It is going to create the test case and it's going to save all the test steps that we recorded along with the objects that we interacted with. So you can see here now under test cases folder, there is a new test case called login test. And you also can see here under object repository, you can see all these objects. So we are in manual mode where you can see the test steps. If you want to see the backend scripting language for these test steps, you need to navigate to script mode here where you can see the scripting language for each step. Open browser, navigate to the URL, click on book appointment button. So you can see in the manual mode here, set text for username. So this is my set text for username scripting language. Basically, you can understand the syntax for each and every test steps that you have recorded. So Katalon is making sure that it records the scripting language whenever you use the record and playback. So you need not to have any scripting language experience. And you can see here, these are all the test objects that we captured. So if you open this test object, you can see what are the element properties that Katalon captured for each object. For button login, it captured all these different element properties. Let us go back to login test. So if you want to modify this test step, let us say as soon as I navigate to URL, I would like to maximize the window. What I can do, I can simply add a new keyword called web UI by selecting add web UI keyword. What is the keyword I would like to add? I would like to add a keyword called maximize window. That's it. Now save your test case. So this is how you can automate test cases by using feature called record and playback without even having experience in scripting language. Our next activity is execute tests flexibly. So you can run the automated tests on multiple browsers, including headless modes, to save time while verifying results across multiple environments. So now let us jump onto Katalon Studio and see how can we execute the tests flexibly. So this is our login test that we automated earlier. Let us run this test and see whatever the test case that we automated works correctly or not. So to run the test, you need to go to run option, and if you select the drop down in the run option, it shows you all the browsers that are available in your system. You can run by using Chrome, you can run by using Firefox, you can run by using IE, Safari, Edge Chromium, and also you can run tests in Chrome headless mode, Firefox headless mode. So what is the usage of running tests in headless mode? So whenever you run the tests in headless mode, the browser does not load the graphical user interface, so which speeds up your test execution, and also because it does not load any graphical user interfaces, your CPU and memory consumption will be very less, so which increases the speed of your test execution. It also helps in your CI/CD pipeline automation. And if you want to run your tests in any remote server, you need not to worry about the display environment. You can straightforward run your tests in any server in headless mode. So now let us run our test in Chrome browser first. So now it opened your Chrome browser and then going to open the application. It maximized the application, is entering your username and password and clicking on login. And then it's going to verify the make appointment page. That's it. So let us go back to our Katalon Studio. And here, once your test case execution is completed, you can analyze the test results in log viewer. So this is your log viewer where you can see each and every test step, if each test step is passed or failed. If it is passed, it's going to show you in green tick mark. So you can see all the test steps are showing in green color right mark. If any test step is failed, then it shows you the red color cross mark. So this is how you can analyze the test results as soon as you execute your test case. So let us run the same test by using headless mode. If you run the test in headless mode, it is not going to open any browser or it is not going to open any user interface. We can see here it started execution. Opened the browser, but there is no user interface. So it navigated to URL, maximized the window, and then it is entering username and password. And it verified the element as well. So you can see all the test steps are passed. So this is how you can run tests in multiple browsers and also in headless mode. I'm going to promise you, we are going to cover how can we perform parallel execution or how can you execute multiple test cases parallelly in multiple browsers. So that I'm going to show you shortly in our next activity. So now what is the next topic that I would like to cover in the demo? Our next topic is reuse test artifacts seamlessly. So you can avoid duplicate work by reusing test cases and objects effortlessly by using Katalon Studio. You can simply drag and drop components or you can use the inbuilt keyword called call test case to connect related workflows like preconditions. Now let us jump on to the Katalon Studio and see how can we reuse test artifacts or test cases seamlessly. So as you all know, we have already automated one test case related to login functionality. Now, what is our other scope candidates? One is make appointment and the other one is logout functionality. So now, to automate make appointment or logout functionality, user has to log in first by using his valid credentials, which means this login test can be reused in all other test cases. So let us first create make appointment test case. How can we create test case? Go to your test case folder, right click, select new and then create test case. Name this as make appointment and click on OK. So to make an appointment, first user has to log in by using valid credentials. For that, I would like to call this login test to this test case. How can you do that? Select add and then select call test case function. And this will open test case browser which shows all your test cases. So this is my login test that we automated earlier. Select this one and click on OK. So now save the test case. Once user login, then you need to perform user actions pertaining to make appointment. For that, I would like to use record web option. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to continue recording in this test case. Select record web. It will ask you, do you want to continue recording test case, make appointment? Yes or no. If you select yes, it continues recording your user actions. If you select no, it's going to clean the session, it start recording. So I would like to continue the recording. Okay, select yes. And here in the web recorder window, there is an option to play back your test case that you have automated till date. So what we automated, we are just calling the login test. So I can play back this login test by clicking on this play button so that your application will be checked with the state where you can start recording make appointment user actions. So it is running your login test. Now your application is at the state where you can start recording the user actions related to make appointment. So here, select the facility as Hong Kong. You can see on right side it is recording all your user actions. Now select this checkbox and then select the radio button healthcare as Medicaid and then select the date on which you would like to visit and then provide the comments and then book an appointment. So once you book an appointment, you will be receiving appointment confirmation. I would like to validate this. Right click on this, Katalon Studio, verify element present. So once that is done, I would like to log out from the application. How can I log out? Select this menu and click on log out. That's it. So I have completed recording my user actions pertaining to make appointment. Now you can simply stop the recording. And you can see here, it has your call test case step and then it has all other steps pertaining to make appointment. Now you can save the script here. Save script. Now I would like to save all my objects to the same folder called 0 to automation and then click on OK. So now it is asking you, do you want to append or override test case? If I override current test case, it is going to override all our steps. I would like to override the current test case. Click on override the current test case. So you can see here now, it is showing call test case step and then make appointment steps. So now you can run the test case to make sure it works correctly. Go to run and then select Chrome browser. So first it is running the test case that we called, which is login test case. And then it continues performing make appointment user actions. So successfully we are able to execute the test case. So now what is our next scope candidate, which is logout functionality. If you want to automate logout functionality, you can follow the same steps that we followed for make appointment. What you can do, you can create a new test case called logout and then you can call login test and then you can continue recording by using playback option in the web recorder. So now what is the advantage of reusing the test? I'll tell you an example. Let us assume there is a small change in login functionality. Let's assume the login button has been changed. So all you need to do is you can come to your login test and make changes according to the latest changes. So what happens once you change your login test, these changes will be reflecting in all other test cases wherever you called this login test. Let's assume you are calling this login test in 100 different test cases. So these latest changes will immediately reflect in all other 100 test cases. That is the advantage of reusing the artifacts or reusing the test cases. So now let me cover another small topic. How can I automate an end-to-end scenario by using these reuse test artifacts seamlessly? I've already automated 3 individual test cases under individual tests. What are those? One is login, which contains only login related test steps, Another one is make appointment, which contains only steps pertaining to make appointment. Another one is logout, which contains steps pertaining to only logout test. Now, I would like to automate an end-to-end scenario where user logs in, makes an appointment, and logs out. How can I do that? Right click on test case folder, go to new, and create a new test case called end-to-end scenario. Now click on OK. So what I can do now, I can simply use call test case function. Select add, select call test case, and here I would like to reuse all these test cases. I can simply select the entire folder, click on OK. Now you need to arrange the test cases in a logical order. How can I do that? First, user has to log in. So that means this needs to be move up. And then user has to make an appointment and then log out. Save the test case. Now you can simply run the test case. Select run and select Chrome browser. First it is running login test and then it is running make appointment test and then it should run logout test. So this is how you can automate your end-to-end scenarios by reusing the artifacts. Now our next topic for demo is keep artifacts organized. With Katalon's built-in page object model, you can neatly structure your test objects and maintain them in one place. And also you can neatly structure your test cases in different test suites and test suite collections. Now let us jump onto the Katalon Studio and see how can we keep artifacts organized. So here you can see all our test objects are stored under 0 to automation folder. Under that, I can see one folder called page_healthcare. Under this folder, all our objects are sitting. Now, I would like to arrange all my objects at page level so that I can follow the page object model. How can we do that? You can simply go here, right click, go to new and create a new folder. Page_make appointment. I would like to store all objects pertaining to make appointment page into this folder. And then again, right click here and then create another folder called page_login. I would like to store all objects into this folder. Now, what are the objects pertaining to login page? Login button, password, username. We can simply drag them and drop onto page login folder. That is done. Now, what are the objects pertaining to make appointment? Book, button book appointment, appointment confirmation, header make appointment, and all other fields pertaining to that page. Now simply drag them and drop onto page_make appointment. Now you can see all my objects are arranged at page level. So this one I can rename this as home page. Page_home. Click OK. So now you can see how neatly our objects are distributed at page level. So when I am moving all these objects into different folders, your test cases are not going to disturb. All these test cases are going to point to the objects accordingly. Coming to the test cases, you can group all your test cases in different test suites. For example, I would like to create a test suite called smoke test suite. How can we do that? To go to test suite module, right click, select new, and then select test suite. Name this as smoke test suite and click on OK. In the same way, I can also create another test suite called regression test suite. Right click on test suite module, select test suite, regression test suite. Become OK. Now let us go to smoke test suite. So what is test suite? Test suite is a collection of test cases. To add test cases to test suite, select add. It will show you all the test cases that we are automated till date. Let's assume I would like to add all individual test cases into smoke test suite. Simply select this folder so that all the test cases under folder will be selected and click on OK. That now my smoke test suite is the collection of multiple test cases. Now, in the same way, I can create test suite collection. What do you mean by test suite collection? It's a collection of test suites, whereas test suite is a collection of test cases. So, how can I create test suite collection? Again, go to test suite module, right click, new. This time you need to select test suite collection. Let's say I would like to name this as release 1. So now this release 1 test suite collection can have multiple test suites. How can I add test suites here? Select add. This will show you multiple test suites, whatever we created. Earlier we created 2 test suites, regression test suite and smoke test suite. I can add both of them if I want. Let's say I would like to add regression test suite and click on OK. So now my regression test suite is empty. Click on add. Let's assume I would like to add end-to-end scenario test case. Select the test case, click on OK. Now save this test suite. So my regression test suite is ready. Go to release 1 test suite collection. As I promised you earlier, I'm going to show you how can I execute the test cases parallelly in multiple browsers. So how can we do that? So if you see here, for the test suite collection, whenever you add a test suite, there is another option called run with. You would like to run this test suite against which browser? Double click on this. I would like to run on Chrome browser. Select Chrome and click on OK. Let's say I would like to run this test suite on Edge browser as well. How can I do that? Again go to add. Now again select regression test suite. Click OK. Now this time double click on this run with column and select Edge Chromium. Done. Let's say I would like to run the same test suite on headless Chrome browser. Again, select add, select regression test suite, click on OK. Now this time, double click on run with, select Chrome headless, click on OK. Now save this entire test suite collection. Let us execute this test suite in parallel in 3 different browsers. How can I do that? So there is an option called execution mode, sequential and parallel. So I can simply select parallel as my execution mode, save this. If I run this now, my test suite should run on Chrome, Edge Chromium and Chrome headless parallelly. Simply you can click on execute. So you can see here, it has opened 2 different browsers. One is Edge, another one is Chrome, both. And also an headless Chrome browser also running, which you cannot see. See here, parallelly, it is running on Chrome, it is running on Edge browser. So our execution is completed. Now you can see here test results. I can see test suite executed on Chrome, test suite executed on Edge and test suite executed on Chrome headless. You can analyze the log viewer individually. Let's say I would like to analyze log viewer of Edge Chromium. Select this one. It shows all the test steps and test cases passed or failed. So this is how you can group your test cases in different test suites, and you can group your test suites in different test suite collections. And this is how you can execute your test cases in different browsers parallelly. You need not to configure anything. Everything will be taken care by Katalon Studio itself. So now our next topic is enhance reusability. So if you want to perform data-driven testing, you need to reuse the same test case with different inputs and test scenarios with variables. So how can we do that? So there is an inbuilt data-driven framework in Katalon Studio. So it is very easy for you to perform data-driven testing. So now let us jump onto the Katalon Studio and see how can we perform data-driven testing. So now to perform data-driven testing, I would like to automate one scenario. There, I would like to validate the error message receives whenever user enters invalid credentials. So for that, simply create a new test case. Right click on test case folder and then select test case login data driven and click on OK. Now I would like to record the actions. Record web and record click on make appointment. Now enter an invalid user name and then enter valid password and click on login. Because we entered invalid username, we received an error message. Right click on this and then verify element text. You can see all the user actions are recorded. Now you can simply stop recording and save the script. I would like to override the objects under individual folder. Click OK. Now my test case for invalid login credentials is ready. Now I would like to perform this test with different data inputs. How can I do that? All I need to do is I need to replace the hard-coded values with the variable. Let us assume I would like to replace the username hard-coded value with a variable. Now go to variable tab, create a new variable by clicking on add and name the variable as username. That's it. I don't want to provide any value here. Go back to manual view. Now here, double click on this input and here instead of string, I would like to select a variable here. Select variable. Now we have already added a variable called username. So that's going to display here. Select that variable, click on OK. So now I have replaced the hard-coded value with a variable for username. Now I would like to create an Excel sheet in my local folder. Go to local folder. I've already created an Excel sheet called login data. And this one, and I have provided multiple usernames, invalid usernames under column called username. You can see this is my column name, username, and I have provided 4 different invalid usernames. Right? Now let's close this one. So let's go back to Katalon Studio. Now I would like to create a new test suite. Go to test suite module, right click and then select test suite. Name this as login data driven. Click OK. Now I would like to add the previously created test case into this test suite. Click on add. What is the test case that we created? We created login data driven and select OK. And here there is a concept called data binding. You need to select show data binding. That will show you the test data source and your variable binding. If you remember correctly, for the test case, we already created a variable. So the same variable which is showing under variable binding. So now, here, what is the test data source that you would like to select? I would like to select the test data source of my Excel sheet that I have created. How can I do that? For that, you need to go to data files module. This is your data files module. Right click on this data files, go to new and select test data. So name this as login test data. And what is the data type? My data type is Excel file. Click on OK. So here I would like to browse the Excel sheet that I have created earlier. So this is the Excel sheet I would like to select. So here browse, and I would like to go to the location where I have stored the Excel sheet. Select the Excel sheet, click on open. So you can see now it is showing you all the columns and the test data that we have created in Excel. Now you can close this one. So come back to your test suite, and here click on add. This will show you all the test data files that you have uploaded under data files module. So I can select login test data that we have uploaded. Click on OK. So now under variable binding, I can see the test data, value, and everything is empty. So there is an easy method to bind your variables from the Excel sheet. How? You can simply select map all. It automatically choose the suitable columns for all variables. See, as soon as I click on map all, it finds one match from your Excel sheet. Click on OK. So now you can see it automatically mapped username column from the Excel sheet. So if you double click here, you can see here there is one column called username. So that is being mapped to the variable that we created under test case. Now save the test case and execute the test case now. It should execute with 4 different values that we entered in the Excel sheet. First, you should take data from the first row of your Excel sheet. See, done. Now, it should execute with your second row of your Excel sheet. That means second data set. See, this time Ravi test is your username. And now, this time the username changes. John Chris. Now your fourth data set. Jim Carrey. So done. You see here now, here you can analyze the test results here. See, your login data driven test executed 4 different times with 4 different data sets. So I can see here my first data is John Doe, and second data is Ravi test, and then third execution is with John Chris. So this is how you can perform data driven testing with the inbuilt data driven framework provided by Katalon Studio. So hope you all understand how can we start with small, right? And then we can create tests very easily by using the low code features. And how can you execute the tests flexibly in multiple browsers? And how can you reuse your test artifacts seamlessly, right? And then keep artifacts organized and then enhance your user reusability. So this is the approach you can take to kickstart your automation journey. So, and also there are a lot of other resources that we have in Katalon Studio. So there are learning resources. If you have any queries, when you practice all these activities that I have explained you or that I have given you the demo, right? So you can refer these learning resources. First one is like we have a Katalon Academy, right? So where you can go to your learning paths. Under these learning paths, you can find the YouTube video. Sorry, you can find the videos, recorded videos based on the learning path. Let's say if you want to if you want to learn something related to practitioner level certification, and there is Katalon certification called professional, right? So as soon as you check this box, you will get a videos pertaining to that particular certification. And also you can find the videos based on the types of testing. If you want to learn something related to API testing or mobile testing and web testing, so you can go through all these. And also you have a certifications too, as I explained you. So there are different types of certifications that are available: practitioner, professional, and expert level, right? And also you have a community also, Katalon community, where you can post all your queries and you can find the answers for a lot of your queries, right? And then we also have Catalan also having a documentation. If you like to, if you have any queries while automating the test cases, right? So you can go to this documentation and you can find any information that you would like to have while automating your test cases, right? So these are all the different learning resources that you have in handy if you are if you get stuck anywhere while automating your test cases, right? Hope you all understand. And this is how you can start with very small stable tests, and this is the clear roadmap that you can follow so that you won't find any hurdles while automating your test cases. And now I think we already running out of the time, so question and answers, you can post any questions that you want in the chat so we can answer the questions. If we cannot answer any questions, we'll be publishing this recap in the forum, community forum. You can just refer this particular recap. You will find all the answers over there. Thank you all for joining the session.